This is the third chapter on gaslighting. This is a little tough for me, as you know, but in retrospect, we can look back on this with insight and humor. I like that one of my favorite songs is playing on this street. This is Downing Street, one of the beautiful boulevards here in Denver. And there are many chapters, many crazy things about this gaslighting stuff, but I'm going to touch on one of the key things from last summer. So it was in late August of 2021 when our oldest son said, "Hey, Dad, why don't you just admit yourself to the hospital and show them you're not crazy?" And I said, "Dan, I'm tired of the gaslighting." But at that time, my wife and I still had hope that we could hold things together. The reality is that we'd been kind of lost in confusion, misunderstanding, and fear for several years as we're drifting apart. I mean, it was just nuts what happened to us. But so I admit myself to this Porter Psych Hospital. Now, as a geriatrician, hospice palliative care doc, I had admitted referred so many elderly patients to that same hospital. But in this time, I go in there and I explain to them, they put me on a mental health hold, even though I went in voluntarily with my temporary guardian. I mean, it was just nuts what they did to me. But here I was, a 65-year-old grieving man, because I thought our marriage of 41 years was done, and I was worried about estrangement from the family. I mean, I was just worried about all kinds of crazy stuff. But I was, in fact, helping these young people with their problems simply because we talked with each other. They were helping me, 65-year-old grieving man. And I told them what was going on. I told the professionals it's gaslighting and grief. But they couldn't hear it. It was all denial. Anyway, after I escaped with other buddies, we were kind of like in the cuckoo's nest. On the third day, I walked home. Or back to the apartment I was staying at. And I walked along this street, and I passed the Denver Country Club. The fact that my family and I are members of this is another crazy, unexpected miracle, but, there's no way a geriatrician should be a member here, but we are. And so I'm going to just give you a view of part of the golf course. And we'll have more stories from there later. I don't think I'll get thrown in jail for videotaping. And I walked around this corner. I was just so confused as to what the heck was happening. Down this straight spare and on into the country club. And just going, what's going on here? But part of the funny thing in retrospect is that although I proved that I'm not crazy and I'm not demented and I'm not all this other stuff, the diagnosis I got from the psychiatrist and the team there, I call him Nurse Ratchet, was I have narcissistic personality disorder and I need long-term outpatient, something called DBT counseling. And when I left the hospital, I said, "Oh, really? Is that what God, it was," because any clinician knows that there's no treatment for any personality trait. Again, I will not even dignify this psychobabble by calling it a personality disorder. So for all of you out there who have called others narcissists, or you follow these podcasts of psychologists who talk about narcissism and all this BS, I'm here to tell you, you really don't know what you're talking about, okay? And part of what I'll say is that narcissism implies that those with narcissistic tendencies or traits feel good about themselves. And the reality is, no, they don't. Their behaviors are just reflecting stuff that deep down inside, they don't feel good about themselves. So, and I would argue that if we're all honest with each other, none of us fundamentally feel good about the dark parts of our nature. Okay, that's gaslighting number 3.